If you're using Claude Code to ship products and you're still writing design briefs, you haven't seen what dropped this week. Anthropic quietly shipped Claude Design. It's a workspace at claude.ai/design that scaffolds full design systems, and most Claude Code builders haven't even opened it yet. Now, this repo gives you 68 pre-built DESIGN.md files. Stripe, Linear, Tesla, Apple, Spotify, Notion. Each one describes a real brand's visual system. You can drop any of them into Claude Design. Let's dive right in and do a quick demonstration of all of this. So now what I want to talk about is this repo here called Awesome Claude Design. Now what this is a collection of 68 ready-to-use design system inspirations, and they're in the format of a design.md file. This file is then given to Claude Design, and Claude is able to expand a full UI scaffold with that single drop. So what I want to do is just quickly go through here and point out a couple things. First, what is the design.md? Well, essentially it is just a simple markdown file, and it describes the brand's language in a format that AI agents can actually act on and use. We'll read this little blurb right here. The core idea is to keep token, the rule, and the rationale all in one file. The Figma export, it will tell you what to use, but it skips the why. In this explanation, a brand guideline PDF that speaks to humans. It's approachable yet premium, but it is too loose for an agent. That's where the design.md sits in the middle. Specific enough for the agent to make its next decision, and also carrying the why so it can stay on system when it finds a case that has not been covered. And that's exactly what this repo is a collection of these design.mds. The way it works is you have two different ways that you can do this, and we're going to walk through one of these ways at a bare minimum in this video. You'll pick a design from the list below, one that you like or one that you want to build off of or from. And then you'll open Claude Design, and one of two ways to give it to this. You can either A, start from a design system, and that would be by clicking this button right here and starting from the design system. We'll open that up and take a look. This is what that looks like. Or B, you can start from a prototype and basically tell Claude in the chat to create a design system from the design.md and then attach it to the chat. And then what happens is either path you choose, what comes out the other side is all of these assets here. All of these artifacts come out the other side, and you can then just drop it right into your Claude Code instance, and boom, you have instant UI brand kit ready to go. Now here are some of the collections. There are popular AI and LLM platforms, Claude at the top of the list there, a few others of course. There are developer tools, productivity and SaaS, creative tools, all sorts of different premium brand kits ready to run into the Claude Design. It's all like ready for you there. This is what Claude produces from a design.md. It gives you a visual theme and atmosphere, the color palette and the roles, typography rules, so forth and so on. I will let you visit the repo and read that yourself. And that's it. That's basically all that's here. And what we're going to do is find one of these, and we're going to use it to create a basic design setup with Claude Design. So I actually have an application that I am building, and it is a calendar-based application. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use cal.com. I want to take a look, and we're going to get this design.md. Let's read through. There's a lot of information here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. This is what it looks like. This looks rather acceptable for a calendar application UI. I am going to drop this into the root of my workspace and then organize it later. All right, going back to the design system, I'm going to actually build this using the prototype way. So we're going to call this, the name of my application is actually called core.cal. And I'm going to go back to the repo, and I'm literally going to copy this. And then we're going to attach a file and go find that design cal and open it. Send that, and let's see what happens. It has been working for just a little bit. It did make a substitution. There is a proprietary Cal Sans typeface. It swapped it for something similar, and it decided to go with an open source Google font, 𝐉𝐸𝐽𝐻𝐃𝐫𝐬, which is a similar type of font. And now it has generated the tokens.css file and the typography HTML file. So we're still waiting on this to continue, and I'll check back in once some more things are produced. I've been watching these updates, and it looked like it was several different calendar specific design aspects being put into the system. We're going to see exactly how this turns out once it gets it all together. I've got my project booted up inside of VS Code with Claude, and I'm going to drop it in and then see how it actually ties into my development process. All right. So what we see here is that it just finished everything. It went through and wrote all of this, updated the to-dos, gave me a summary of everything. It's verifying right now, and this is what is live. And this looks really nice. This is a really nice calendar-based UI setup, and I believe I'm going to use this. Now, you are able to make tweaks to this. We can put additional instructions here and refine further if we wanted to. For the sake of time, I'm not going to walk through all of that. You can come into this and experiment doing the same thing that I've just done. So the way I look at this is you don't necessarily have to take one of these verbatim. You can find one that has a similar approach to what you want to take, and then make edits to differentiate yourself. Now I'm going to click the share button up here, and I'm going to click download project as a zip file, and I'm just going to download it to my workspace. I'm going to open up the workspace here in another folder. Give me just 1 minute. All right, so this is what is in the extracted folder. It laid everything out right here for me, and then it put the DESIGN.md here. So one thing that I've noticed when I was looking through my folder is that there is no SKILL.md and there is no README file here. So what I'm going to do is actually prompt for that. Generate a portable SKILL.md that I can save to my skills folder, as well as a README design system overview. Both were missing but requested originally. And we're going to send that in and get the rest of this. So always double check the output from any AI. They miss things. All right, so it added the skill.md file and added the README. So we're going to go to the design files, and we are going to just download these individually into the folder itself just to get them in there. Now we have a complete package. Now we have the skill.md, and what I'm going to do is actually load this up. All right, so I'm now inside of VS Code, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to drop this core cal folder right into the skills folder and just see how that will work. So essentially everything that is in here, which would be uploads, we're just going to drag it down to skills. And I'm going to rename this one, or add a new folder. We're going to call it Design System, and we're actually going to put it inside of the Design System, as well as all of these right inside of the Design System. Now we're just going to ask prompt if it can see the newly added skill for the Design System. Maybe I have to restart my session. Let's see what Claude says about what it just received, and then we will conclude this. Now, also, if you happen to use another framework that I have built called Paul, you can tell it to update your roadmap, state, and project files to always follow this skill, and it will go through and make those updates. That way, there's never a miss and there's not any inconsistency. It will be reinforced consistently throughout the build process. So I went ahead and I told it to update my roadmap, my state, and my project. It will now, from now on any phase or plan that I am working in that involves front-end work, it's going to auto-invoke this skill and apply my design system every single time. And it's also going to update special flows. That is typically where skills are configured for Paul. Now, we'll be doing more extensive video coverage on Paul. There are a few videos floating around on YouTube about it. I've learned a lot of things about it. There's a lot that I have in store for it as far as development goes. And I would like to talk about it more from a strategic point of view and less about here's what it is and here's what it does. I want to actually show you how to get the most out of the framework. So now everything has been updated except for it didn't update roadmap, which that makes sense. I threw that in there just for coverage, but all of the necessary files now capture that we have a design system. So going forward, my application should be coherent. So in my Skool community, now if you're interested in getting more out of Claude, the Skool community is brand new to check out my Skool community. We're just getting every single workflow. I'm doing everything from scratch or walkthrough that I create that shows you how to unlock another side or facet of Claude Code. I'm going to go into my Skool community here under the Founders Toolkit and generate a step-by-step that you can follow to implement this on your own. And then you can follow the steps and do it your own. This will be done for every single video that you see like this one. We'll have a corresponding lesson inside of my Skool classroom right here inside of the Founders Toolkit. Now, this is absolutely free. You can come right in, get the standard, which is free membership here, and you'll see the Founders Toolkit. Also, don't forget to like this video if you found it valuable in any way, and subscribe to the channel because I have a lot that I want to cover, talking about the frameworks that I build, the development processes as those continue to grow, as well as new things that I have coming down the pipeline that I've not even yet revealed. So if you want all of this goodie, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.